It is 3 a.m. in Orenburg, Russia, a city of 500,000 people, deep in the southern Urals. So far from the Ukrainian border that most Russians living there probably fell asleep thinking the war was someone else's problem. Then the sky started falling. Residents woke to the sound of explosions. Not one, not two, but at least 3 separate impacts tearing through an industrial zone on the edge of the city. Within minutes, local telegram channels lit up, people posting shaky videos from their windows, smoke rising above the tree line. Something was burning, something big. The regional airport shut down immediately. Flights to Orsk and Yasnoy were suspended. Russia's own NASA fire monitoring satellite system, FIRMS, began picking up multiple active heat signatures on the grounds of a single complex. Not one fire, several, spread across different points of the same enormous industrial site. The governor of Orenburg region, Yevgeny Solntsev, posted to Telegram. He confirmed a massive drone attack. He said drones had been shot down over an industrial facility. He urged residents to stay calm. And then, almost immediately, he issued a warning. Sharing photos or videos of the attack is prohibited. Think about that for a second. Russia's own governor, in the middle of the night, wasn't telling people what had been hit. He was telling them to stop looking, because what had just burned, 1,200 kilometers from the Ukrainian front line, almost as far into Russia as you can go before you reach Kazakhstan, was not just a factory. It was Russia's only helium plant. Let's talk about what Ukraine actually hit, because most coverage is skipping the details that make this genuinely alarming for Moscow. The Orenburg gas processing plant and the Orenburg helium plant are not 2 separate facilities. They are one enormous interconnected complex built in 1974 that stretches across a massive footprint on the edge of the city. Commissioned during the Soviet era, partly with foreign equipment, it is, by Russian sources' own description, one of the largest gas chemical complexes on the planet. It processes 45 billion cubic meters of gas every single year. To put that in perspective, that's 60% of all gas processed by Gazprom's entire processing subsidiary, this one complex. Now, here's what it produces. And this is where it gets interesting. The first stage extracts commercial gas and sulfur. Sulfur sounds boring. It isn't. Sulfur is a direct input for the production of black powder and explosives. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is where the purified gas, now stripped of sulfur, gets deep cooled. Extreme temperatures pull out the most valuable components. First, helium. Helium is not just for birthday balloons. In a military context, helium is an inert gas used in liquid propellant rocket engines, the type that power Russia's ballistic missiles, and in the precision guidance systems that make those missiles accurate. And this plant? This was Russia's only helium production facility, not one of several, the only one. Second component extracted, ethane. Ethane is a key raw material for the synthesis of specialty plastics, aviation cable insulation, the cables that run through aircraft and weapons systems, and the plasticizers used in solid rocket fuel and gunpowder. Let that land for a moment. Ukraine didn't hit a gas plant. Ukraine hit a facility that simultaneously feeds explosives production, liquid rocket fuel, missile guidance systems, solid rocket propellant, and aviation weapons cables. All of it. In one building. On fire. And there's one more thing almost nobody is reporting. This plant is also Russia's only producer of odorant, the chemical compound added to natural gas so that humans can smell a gas leak. Without it, every gas leak across Russia becomes invisible and odorless. The civilian consequences of this strike extend far beyond anything military. Here's the question nobody is asking. How did Ukrainian drones find this specific target, 1,200 kilometers away, in the middle of the night, with no GPS signal? The answer involves a man named Igor Volobuyev. Volobuyev is a former Russian bank executive. After the 2022 invasion, he defected to Ukraine. He took up arms. And then, he built something. a covert underground resistance network operating entirely inside Russia. He calls it Black Spark. In Russian, Chernaya Iskra. Ukraine's Special Operations Forces confirmed it publicly, in writing, in their official telegram statement about the Orenburg strike. The mission was carried out in cooperation with Black Spark, a resistance movement operating on Russian soil. This was not just a drone attack. This was a joint operation between Ukrainian special forces and Russian citizens working against their own government, from inside Russia. The company that owns the plant that was just destroyed. Think about what that means. Russia's own energy insiders may have helped Ukraine burn Russia's most critical missile fuel facility to the ground. And this wasn't their first operation. Black Spark has previously provided targeting data that helped destroy a Buk M3 missile launcher and a Nebo-U radar system in Rostov. Struck 2 Russian cargo ships in the Caspian Sea, ships under US sanctions for transporting weapons between Iran and Russia. Sabotaged Gazprom pipelines near St. Petersburg that supplied energy to Russia's Almaz anti-missile manufacturer, the company that builds the S-400 air defense system. This is not a fringe group. This is an organized, active, intelligence-sharing resistance network operating in Russia's heartland. And most people watching this video have never heard of them. Now here's the part of this story that changes everything you think you know about drone warfare. Russia has spent billions, literally billions of dollars, on systems designed to spoof, jam, and disable GPS signals. In many parts of the front line, Ukrainian operators have described it as a GPS-denied environment. Signals get corrupted, drones go dark, they crash or fly off course. Now, let's talk about what happened 2 years ago that the world only just found out about. In June 2026, a Ukrainian drone maker named Alexander Kokhanovsky spoke to New Scientist at a Ukrainian embassy press event and confirmed something that stopped the room. 2 years earlier, Ukraine had deployed 10 fully autonomous AI-controlled quadcopter drones to the front line near Bakhmut. No pilot, no live video feed, no abort button. The drones flew 3 to 5 kilometers toward the Russian lines, patrolled for 10 minutes, and then activated what Kokhanovsky called Terminator mode, in which the AI scans the area, identifies targets, and kills them. Alone. No human consulted at any point. No human able to stop it. Here's what he said. "We just launch it, and we know everything will be dead. There is no connection to the drone at all. You cannot see the video. Nothing. Everything it sees will be killed." Because the drones transmitted nothing, Ukrainian forces sent human-piloted drones in afterward to check results. Ukraine's ongoing campaign against Russian oil refineries has cut Russia's domestic gasoline output by approximately 25% year-on-year. Russia has now entered formal talks to import up to 50,000 metric tons of gasoline from Kazakhstan, the same country whose gas it was processing at Orenburg. The irony is almost surreal. Occupied Crimea has suspended civilian fuel sales entirely. Fuel rationing has spread as far east as Siberia. Russia's parliament, on the same day as the Orenburg strike, passed emergency legislation allowing lower quality fuel to be used in gasoline production, just to keep pumps running. And here's the detail that puts all of this in context. Russia moved its air defense systems away from regions like Orenburg, toward Moscow, toward the Kerch Bridge, just weeks before this strike. Ukraine waited, watched the gap open, and then sent its drones 1,200 kilometers through undefended sky. In 2024, it secretly deployed autonomous AI drones that killed Russian soldiers without a single human making the decision to fire, and then said nothing about it for 2 years. In 2026, it sent swarms of pilotless aircraft 1,200 kilometers into Russia with no GPS, no pilot, and no radio signal, guided purely by artificial intelligence reading the landscape, and set fire to the only facility producing the helium that keeps Russian missiles in the air. The drones that Russia spent years trying to jam? They no longer need a signal to find their targets. If you want to understand what modern war actually looks like, not the version being reported, but the version being fought, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.